You've been through something, maybe many things, and now you notice you're different. Not broken, but changed. You don't talk about it much, but you see the world through a lens most people don't have, and you carry traits that make perfect sense once you understand what your brain has been doing to survive. When you've endured prolonged suffering, your nervous system rewires itself, not as damage, as adaptation. You become hyper-aware in rooms full of people. You notice micro-expressions others miss, the shift in someone's tone, the pause before they answer. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, a heightened state of threat detection. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, has been trained by experience to scan for danger constantly. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition that saved you once. You might also feel a strange discomfort with good things. Happiness feels fragile, success feels temporary. You brace for the collapse. This is anticipatory anxiety, your brain preparing for pain, because pain has been the pattern. The 11 traits. 1. You read people like a second language. Trauma sharpens social cognition. Studies show that people who've experienced chronic stress develop heightened sensitivity to emotional cues. You learned early, survival meant reading the room. Your prefrontal cortex and insula work overtime to decode intent. This isn't a superpower, it's an exhausting translation app running in the background at all times. 2. You struggle to accept help. When you've had to survive alone, your brain forms a core belief: I am the only reliable resource. This is called learned self-reliance. Neurologically, asking for help triggers the same threat response as being vulnerable once did. The brain says, if I open up, I get hurt, so you stay closed. 3. You feel guilty when you rest. Your nervous system has been in survival mode so long, rest feels like neglect. This ties to chronic stress adaptation, where your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis stays activated. Your body interprets stillness as danger. It whispers, if you stop moving, something bad will happen, so you stay busy. Not productive, just occupied. 4. You minimize your own pain. You've heard worse, been through worse, so you downgrade your own suffering. This is comparative invalidation, a cognitive distortion where you rank pain instead of acknowledging it. The brain does this to maintain emotional control. If your pain isn't bad enough, you don't have to feel it fully. 5. You expect disappointment. When suffering has been consistent, your brain builds a predictive model around loss. This is learned pessimism, rooted in the brain's pattern-matching machinery. The basal ganglia and hippocampus store emotional memories. When good things happen, those memories say, this didn't last before, so you protect yourself by expecting less. 6. You feel like an outsider even in close circles. Chronic suffering creates emotional isolation, not because you're alone, but because your inner experience feels untranslatable. You're in the room, but not of it. Psychologically, this is tied to dissociation, a defense mechanism where the brain creates distance from overwhelming emotion. You learn to disconnect to survive. Now it's hard to reconnect, even when it's safe. 8. You're deeply empathetic, but struggle to feel your own emotions. You can hold space for others' pain with profound clarity, but your own feelings? Muffled, distant. This is called alexithymia, difficulty identifying and expressing emotions. Trauma can suppress access to the limbic system's emotional outputs. Your brain prioritized others' emotions because that kept you safe. Now, turning inward feels like static. 8. You overanalyze everything. Your mind replays conversations, searches for hidden meanings, prepares for outcomes that may never happen. This is rumination, driven by an overactive default mode network. The brain is trying to prevent future pain by solving every possible scenario, but you can't think your way to safety, and the exhaustion from trying is real. 9. You have an intense relationship with control. When chaos has defined your past, control becomes the strategy. You plan, you prepare, you micromanage. This is the brain's attempt to regulate through the prefrontal cortex, the executive function center. But here's the paradox. The tighter you grip, the more fragile you feel. Because deep down you know control is an illusion, and that knowledge terrifies you. 10. You don't trust peace. When things are quiet, you wait for the storm. Your nervous system has been conditioned by intermittent trauma, where calm was often the setup for chaos. The brain's threat detection system stays active even in safety. This is why you might sabotage good things. Not because you don't want them, but because unpredictability feels more familiar than peace. 11. You carry a quiet, unshakable strength. Here's what most people miss. Suffering didn't weaken you, it reorganized you. You've developed post-traumatic growth, a psychological concept where adversity leads to profound personal evolution. Your capacity for resilience, depth, and meaning is not despite your pain, it's because you've metabolized it. And that's not something everyone has. These traits aren't flaws, they're adaptations. Your brain did exactly what it was designed to do: survive. But here's the important part. What helped you survive may no longer serve you. And recognizing that is the first step toward integration. Think of your brain like a house with an overactive security system. The amygdala, the alarm, has been triggered so many times, it now sees threat everywhere. The prefrontal cortex, your reasoning center, tries to convince the alarm it's safe. But the alarm doesn't trust logic, it trusts history. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire, means you can update the system, not by dismissing the alarm, but by teaching it new patterns. Safety, repeated, becomes the new data. Practical framework. Name the pattern without shame. When you notice hypervigilance or self-minimization, just name it. This is my nervous system doing what it learned. Labeling reduces amygdala activation. It's called affect labeling in neuroscience. Practice microsafety. You can't convince your brain the world is safe, but you can give it small, repeated experiences of safety. A 5-minute walk, a grounding breath, a text to someone you trust. The hippocampus stores these moments. Over time, they become evidence. Let someone witness you, not fix you, not solve you, just see you. This is co-regulation, where another nervous system helps calm yours. It's vulnerable and it's healing. Separate past from present. When your body reacts to safety like it's danger, ask, is this happening now or is this an echo? This engages the prefrontal cortex and creates space between reaction and reality. Honor what got you here. These traits served you. Thank them. Then ask, do I still need this? Gratitude for survival, permission to evolve. Both can be true. Here's the model. You are not broken. You are a nervous system that adapted brilliantly to impossible circumstances. And now you're learning to adapt again, this time to safety. That's not weakness. That's the deepest form of courage. If you carry these traits, you've been through something most people can't imagine, and you're still here. Still trying. Still learning to trust the quiet. That matters. You matter. Not because you're healed, but because you're human. And that's always been enough.